Survivors, seekers, and thrivers, welcome to Transcending Trauma, a spiritual odyssey. I'm Shari Lee Roberts, living proof that transformation is real. Get ready for powerful insights, inspiring stories, and a little laughter along the way.
Welcome back to day. I get here of the Jack Sorenson here today. Jack was so by all measures was really unhappy. They showed up in giving about 80 pounds of extra weight, along with battling alcoholism and binge eating. But today, Jack is singing a very different tune. And for those of you watching, you can tell by looking at Jack that something big happened. They turned every thing around. So with that, Jack, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Well, everyone who hears this, who also feels their life feels leading them rather than them leading the life they want. I don't know about other people, but I know that was true for me in my younger child ring corporate job days. I'd get up, jump on the life, tired meal, and never felt I was in control. Now that I'm on the other end, and life now is what I make it and wanted to be. I feel awful for young people who are living their life. So, Jack, I am going to hand it over to you to kick us off in whatever way you are being called to do,
Mhm.
and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. So quick introduction. So what's going on, everybody? My name's Jack. I'm a former engineer. I did, in fact, lose 80 pounds. I battled alcoholism. I battled binge into eating. I had a serious problem. Decided to go sober. Was an engineer, like I said, got it super into health. When I lost all the weight, I was just helping everyone I could. I have such a huge just drive, passion for helping people. And I quickly realized that I've always been someone to just, be the shoulder to lean on for a lot of different people and try to just help, 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 help. But when I started coaching people just for free, just on the side of after I lost all the weight, it just became like a real, just I don't know, very fulfilling. Felt like I was doing something that like I was meant to do type deal. And it just started growing and growing. And so I was an engineer, like, not too long, 4 or 5 years, give or take. Um, but it just I don't know, it just never ticked the box and I was okay with it. Like I was fine with it. I have all these student loans, like might as well do this, career. But then my company that I was working for was smaller. We got bought out by big tech and then I lost my job on a random Tuesday. So I got laid off with 100 other unreal engineers. So that made me kind of rethink a lot because at one point, I took the engineering job as a thought of like, oh, this is going to be, the very stable route. I'm safe here. I worked very hard. I tried to please my manager all the time, did the thing. I was very good at what I did, but still didn't matter on that day because they were just thinking budget cuts. And I had to,
Yeah.
yeah, they just had to cut some money, and so I was an easy target too because I had a family stuff thing going on. I was living in Michigan at the time. I'm originally from Massachusetts, so I asked them if I could go home to, be with fam, um, and they said, yeah, sure. When are you going to be back? I'm not sure. I'm not sure when I'll be back, but I need to be back there for what's going on, and so. They allowed me to do that, but then I was just easy target when it came to it. So, um, but instead of kind of just quickly jumping into another engineering job, I had a little severance, like a month. I was like, you know what? I've been coaching for a bit. This is a side hustle. I had transformations. I have people talking about me. I have, you know, just an account on Instagram I've been posting about. I've always just lived this life. Once I lost all the weight, I got really into health, like I said, bodybuilding competitions, different running races, all that stuff. So I said, you know what, let's give it a shot. I was in different networks for business owners and stuff. So I said, let's just do it. So now I just spread in the world like wildfire. Everybody just, hey guys, can you post me, help me out? And that was 2 years ago. And so I've been full time ever since. And the business blew up. And every day I get to do what I love. I truly, truly love what I do beyond words can ever explain. It doesn't ever really feel like I'm working. I just am kind of growing this business, doing what I can, and living the life that I've always wanted to live. I used to think it was all about, money, saving up, all this stuff, which is true. Obviously, it's important to be financially stable, but also like I understand when people say that like they just love what they do because
Yeah.
I'll gladly make a little bit. I'm making more now, sure. But like when I was getting the business going, I was like so happy to like not make as much money, but doing something that like truly fired me the F up. I was so
Yeah.
pumped to do it each and every day. Um, so that's why when you asked even the question in the questionnaire, Sherry, about like just like what did I want to talk about, it's more of an identity thing than anything. Just because you know, I was kind of just given this identity of what I was supposed to be many years ago when I was a
Yeah.
kid. Not the fault of my parents' own, and it's just what everybody knows. Who knows how to be a parent, in the grand scheme of things? And so, you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like just like my father was a big sports head, big sports guy, but I was more of a creative. I was more of an individual that liked the arts. I would just draw in my free time. I loved playing guitar. My favorite band growing up was Aerosmith. I was a classic rock guy. I just loved, yeah, Jay Giles
Yeah.
band, Boston,
Yeah.
AC/DC. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A little bit of an oddball for me, I know, but so that was my chance. That's what I did. I just would play guitar in the afternoons. I would draw, and then I was a big skateboarder, massive skateboarder. Loved adrenaline. Was very good at it too, but what my dad knew was sports. And so, and team sports do have their benefits. You learn a lot of different
Yeah.
communication skills, learning how to work hard, all that stuff. So that he just thought that's the path for him. That's the one he should do, which is fine. But I played three sports, hockey, soccer, and baseball, basically year round from a little kid all the way up to college.
Wow.
And then I played
Wow.
college baseball. So I did not stop. So I kind of just had like this, like the creative version of me, just a little bit stripped from me. Not the fault of my parents, whatever. They knew that was right, but that was the reality of it. Is that I kind of lost this identity. I really didn't know who I was. I just became like this sports fanatic. It's all I did. And I kind of lost like just things that made me more or less me. It's like what I like to say. And then same thing when it came to engineering. I didn't really choose that degree per se. My dad was like, "Oh, you're into cars," because I love cars. I've always loved cars, and he's like, "You're gonna be an engineer." And I'm like, "Yes, sir." And that was just kind of what I thought to be right. Once again, it's okay. Like that's, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people that are going through this where it's like you kind of just get
Yeah.
this life handed out to you and thinking that's the what for you, what you got to do. That's what the world says, yada yada.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, when I got to college, and I started realizing I don't want to do this. I was good at it. I was naturally good at taking numbers and systems, and I was an engineer. I do have that mindset for sure. But like I
Yeah.
just realized this is not my jam. I like people. I like being more on the creative side. So when I actually ended up destroying my elbow and had to get surgery for baseball, so all of a sudden I had no structure. I had no one telling me what to do. I had nothing but just school. So it just put me down a rough path, honestly. And college is an easy place to just kind of let go. There's no one watching you. So, but
Yeah.
for me, it got out of hand. Nightly drinking every day, and then I would end the night just at the TV, just throwing back food for an hour or two, not even thinking that I just ate probably a week's worth of food in one go that I should be, just like over and over and over
Wow.
again. I mean, I put on 60 pounds in a single year. Um, yeah,
Wow.
so it got bad. It got really, really, really bad. And I just kind of like had a little bit of an identity crisis. And I feel like everyone kind of maybe goes through that different phases of their life.
Yeah.
Like, what have I been doing? And I had mine
Yeah.
like really harshly, in my, start of my 20s. And it was just really rough, in the sense that like I just was in a really dark place, did not know what to do, had no one could come up to me and say like, or no, I when someone came up to me and asked like, what are you into? I just like didn't really have an answer for them, which was
Mm.
kind of hard. It seems like it's such a
Yeah.
simple thing, but what music you into? I'm like, okay, like what everyone else is into. Nothing unique
Yeah.
about me. What are your hobbies? Oh, well, I like to have fun on the weekend. Okay, so like everybody else, you know. And so it was
Mm.
starting to bug me a lot because growing up when I was a kid, like I did have unique qualities to me, and I would always think back to that of just like what I was into. People would think, "Oh, that is so cool that you do this and whatever." And not that like it matters what people say, but I liked being just, a little bit different. I didn't like just being kind of like herd mentality. I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be that person that, people, when someone thinks of something, so, they think of me rather than just like, everyone else. So it was bothering me. And I can't pinpoint a day, but I can pinpoint, 2019 specifically when it just kind of turned a lot for me where I tried to keep drinking around when I was losing weight. I couldn't, so I went sober. I just got so into health, and it started forming this new identity for myself slowly but surely. Like, oh, like I'm doing this for myself. This is not what someone told me to do. I have people who
Yeah.
was telling me that like I was friends with or even family, like, oh, you look great the way you are. You're not, you didn't put on that much
Ah.
weight. Just all this stuff telling me, like, oh, it's
Yeah.
fine, you're good. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not fine. I don't feel fine. I
Yeah.
feel awful in my skin. You can tell me what, maybe you're just reflecting what you feel onto me, but I don't feel okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was just, and so once I started to get my health in check, I started to get into more of like, okay, like what, how can I be creative? I love cars. So I ended up buying a old beat up junkyard car and I started restoring it, kind of bringing back that whole creative mentality of like, oh, I can make this
Yeah.
however I want it. I was working on it. And I was getting very hands on. And then I actually ended up getting into race car driving, specifically this form of motorsport called drifting that once again was getting into the like kind of like my roots of like being an adrenaline junkie and getting back into that. And then ended up meeting my girlfriend of now, who is a huge music person, very creative, right? And I just like
Yeah.
fell head over heels for her for the fact that like she was so unequivocally herself and that like she was honestly what I was, where it's like the music, a creative person, like not just talking sports all the time,
Yeah.
not just worrying about the drinking. And so then I started to be almost reverting back to what I used to be, like this original identity. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like what I wanted to kind of bring to the table today is just like, a lot of people are being handed these lives that aren't actually for them.
Yeah.
And it's important to sometimes reflect a little bit of like, is this actually what I want to do? Is this what my mom, my friends, or whatever want me to do? What actually makes you tick? What fires you up? What makes you excited to live the life that you want to live? You only have one, and it's like it's better off to live it the way you want it rather than what you perceived should be lived, right? And ultimately, everyone's always talking about the money and this, whatever. I guarantee you, if you find a way to mesh what you do enjoy, what the lifestyle you want to live, with some kind of income, you will make plenty of money, be perfectly fine,
Yes.
and you'll be
Yes.
pumped doing it rather than just living this life of just that someone else wrote for you, essentially. Um, but yeah, that's my spiel, Sherry. That's what I'm coming here today with.
They are take it. A couple of things.
Hmm.
I grew up and lived in
Did
Michigan.
you really? Oh, no way.
My whole life
Oh, really?
until until I was 52 and shocker my 25 plus year career was automotive.
Was it
I,
really?
yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, you're in Michigan, so that makes sense, right?
Yeah, right. Well, what company or industry did you work in?
So I work specifically with autonomous vehicles, so self-driving vehicles within the automotive industry. So I worked
Yeah.
at two companies. One was called Aptiv. So they worked mainly with Stellantis, so like Chrysler vehicles, so
Oh,
Dodge, Jeep. Yeah, Dodge,
yeah.
Jeep. Did some work with BMWs. So a lot of their self-driving stuff, so self-stopping, self-parking, lane keep, all the
Yeah.
different stuff like that. And then I worked for another company. It was a smaller one called Arriver, but the big tech that bought them out was called Qualcomm. And
Oh,
so Aptiv was in Troy. I lived
yeah.
in Rochester Hills specifically when I worked there.
Yeah.
Small world. Let's go. That's too
Yeah.
funny. I mean, it's a
Wow.
good spot. It's a good spot to live, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
And then and then
definitely.
And then when I moved to the other job, I worked in Novi
Yeah,
specifically, and
yeah.
that's when I decided to buy a house in the West Bloomfield Pontiac border. Right over there is when I
Okay.
bought a home, and that's where I lived for the remainder of my years there. But yeah, so I was working in the self-driving
Wow.
stuff. Yeah, I was a nerdy though.
Okay.
I was the computer guy. I was just sitting
Yeah,
coding,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Loving, yeah. Okay. And what about the old car that you bought? I
Yeah.
mean, I absolutely love
Okay,
cars.
you do? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
oh my God. Yeah, I am a total geezer
Oh,
head.
you're a gearhead?
Love,
Oh, let's go.
yeah, love 'em. Okay.
So it's
Well,
so my car was It's a 1990 Miata actually. So it's a tiny little car. It's super
Oh,
cute,
yeah.
but it was a totally beat up, and I turned it basically into a race car type ish, you know. I mean, I can send you a picture of it or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because I will at some point because it is cool. It is a pretty cool looking car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang to wait. Okay. So, Ian twenty 19
hmm
something happened back home. And you went back to Massachusetts. That where you are now.
I've lived in 5 places in the last 6 years, actually. So
My
I do not.
God. I tell you.
Um,
Okay.
so I lived in Massachusetts originally,
Yeah.
and I grew up in Boston area. I
Uh,
moved to Michigan straight out of college. I lived there for 3 or 4 years, and then I moved back to Massachusetts for that family thing. I was there for a year. Then I lived in New York City. I lived
uh,
in Brooklyn. So
oh
my
my
girlfriend,
God.
my girlfriend was living there for 6 years, and there was no sign of her leaving just yet. She was working at a law firm, so I decided to just when I started the business or went full time into the business, just got up and moved my entire life to New York City, the city of hustle. That pushed me
Yeah.
quite hard. Yeah. So that was all of 23 into 24, and then I actually now live in Tampa, Florida. Just moved here 5 months ago, and then me and my girlfriend will be finally moving to our spot that will be for the foreseeable future, and that'll be St. Petersburg, Florida, specifically, because that's kind of like the goal we both wrote for ourselves almost like 3 years ago when we first met. Like we would love to live in St. Petersburg, and we wake up, we can see the water,
Yeah.
be in the warmth. So we just signed the lease actually like last week, so we'll be moving there in a month or so, or 2 months or so. So
Wow.
yeah, I've been all over the place.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Congratulations. And again, I also lived in Florida
Oh, did you?
during COVID until 2022
Oh,
and do want to end up there kind of in the big clear water
really?
area.
Right down the street. Yeah.
It is. Wow. Great minds. Okay. Now, will you talk about your company? Um,
Of course.
yeah, talk all about that. And I think in doing so, you'll automatically talk about how it helps everyone, regardless of where you're at in life.
hmm
But I do want to preface what you're going to say with Jack's company and system. work for all of you who want to change, want to be healthy, and live a purpose driven life. Okay.
All right.
Jack,
Floor's mine.
damn, way you
All
go.
right. Cool. But yeah, so my business is my last name Fitness. So it's Sorenson Fitness. But it's an online health and wellness slash fitness brand. We help everybody. We help absolutely everybody. And the main focus is helping those folks stop falling off with their health journeys specifically. A lot of coaches nowadays will focus very heavily on just the 1 hour in the gym, going for personal training here and there, which is cool. But we do that, but we also focus on all the activity in your life, like your daily movement, as well as the other 23 hours in your entirety of your life that kind of
Yeah.
make or break your health a little bit, you know? We
Yeah.
do this by build
Kind of.
just a little bit,
Kind
just a little
of. Yeah.
bit. But we do that by building sustainable habits through direct mindset coaching, because if you don't have the right mindset, it's going to be very hard to get to where you want to go. Direct nutrition coaching, because if you don't know what you're putting in your body, if you can't control what you're putting in your body, that just completely much dictates everything in your life. Absolute loads of accountability to the point where we're like basically this annoying fly in your ear, just pushing you along 24/7. But that's the point. All right. Top tier level accountability. And then obviously any kind of activity slash training, very custom to the individual. Everyone assumes that you need to be going, 5 days a week, weightlifting this, weightlifting that. It's more about the person, what you can do, what you handle. Because at the end of the day, if you can just move at all, or if you can move at all, you're already worlds ahead than the people that aren't, right? Like, and I'm
Yeah.
talking worlds, like your quality of life is going to just get extended so far just by moving in some way each and every day. And that looks different for everybody. So that's what we kind of really work on with each individual to find out what that truly is. And the way I came about kind of this coaching specifically is like, so when I was an engineer, um, I really saw a big disconnect in just work life and people taking care of themselves, where they're constantly looking for the perfect time to start. Oh, here comes New Year's, I'm going to start then,
Yeah.
or oh, when we get through this sprint of work,
Yeah.
fiscal year 23, when we're done with that,
Mm.
it'll be time to take care of myself. And it was
Yeah.
just this repeated cycle over and over again, and it was
Yeah.
just sad because I see these people. I'm young, I have all the time, but I see people that, you have families, they come back to their families, they're dragging their heels, they have no energy to serve their people that will matter
Yeah.
most to them. They're
Yeah.
bringing that into the office. I sense the energy, and it was just sad. So that's like why I started even helping, is that like I was trying to get people to start. My whole thing, my whole brand is all about sustainable approach and how to start and not stop. How do I make sure that someone can actually start this journey and not fall off? Because in reality, the reason why they're not where they want to go is because they can't keep up with it. It's not because
Yeah.
they don't know the
Yeah.
perfect program or the perfect diet. It's that there's a disconnect, that there's a vacation, there's a busy period, there's something that causes you to like turn off and stop taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
So then when I started getting into the entrepreneur world, right, and I started getting into real estate a little bit, whatever, I saw the same thing. Everywhere there's hustle, right, people just put their health to the side and say, oh, but I'm
Yeah.
going to do this for now.
Yeah.
And then 10 years go by and they're wondering why they're talking to their doctor, saying the doctor's saying, hey, you need to lose weight. You're pre-diabetic, right?
Yeah.
Or you are,
Hmm.
hey, your hormones are absolutely in the dirt. How much sleep do you get a night? Or all these different things. You get the talk. It's like, oh, I wonder what happened. Well, the reason why that happened is that 10, 20 years ago, you stopped taking care of yourself, or you have been like on off all the time. So my whole brand, my whole thing is what I tell people is the goal is to start and not stop. The goal is to make it so you stop hitting the restart button over and over and over again. And likely the result of that is that you just get to the goals you want. Everyone wants their, to the muscle or the weight loss or the whatever. But the reason why you get there is because you find a way to stick with it for the first time ever, right? For the first time ever. So
Yeah.
that is everything. And so often less is more, right?
Yeah.
You can if you can do 2 months in a row, 5 days a week for 2 hours at a time, congratulations. But then you fall off,
Yeah.
right? The rest of the year
Yep.
you don't do anything and you're wondering why you have to actually make another New Year's resolution. Your goal should not have to be a New Year's resolution every single time. It can be
Yeah.
specifics like, oh, I want to run a marathon or whatever. But it should not be, I need to lose weight again, or I want to lose weight. I want to, get to the gym again. It can't be that over and over again, right?
Yeah.
Versus if someone just found a way to go to the gym once a week, go to that workout classroom once a week, you go to yoga 2 times a week, you go to Pilates once a week or twice a week. If you just find a way to just show up and don't stop every week, right? You will
Yeah.
ultimately get to where you want to go because momentum compounds. When you start something and you keep up with it, you're more likely to continue to do that and maybe
Yeah.
build on it. So it's
Yeah.
less about the actual action that you're doing and more about building and getting more confident. When I out the gate, I try to go 2 days a week. I mean, 2 days, excuse me, 2 workouts a day, crazy amount of cardio, and I would just burn out every time, right? You can't outwork it. You have to find a way to just keep going, keep showing up, no matter what phase you are, right? Oh, you got a busy life with your work? Cool. Still show up. It might not be 5 days a week. It might not be three, two. It could be just one. It could just be going for walks that week. It could be that you just focus on the food. Whatever it may be, find a way to just show up that you're proud of and keep going, right? So then that
Yeah.
is just everything, right? And ultimately, that's why
Yeah.
everyone who works with me can seek some kind of results, both mentally and physically, because for the first time ever, they actually can continuously do something. They're not thinking, oh, like, how much can I do something? Like the crazy amount of intensity. They're like, how can I get through the holiday season? How can I get through the vacations, the time out with my family, all that stuff? So that is what we work on so much, is that it's more about building this healthy identity because ultimately it is an identity, right? It's an identity shift of just being a better version of you that just shows up each and every day in some fashion for yourself rather than just doing a phase or looking at weight while or going to the gym just to lose weight, which is very transactional thinking. We don't want to think that way. We want to think, okay, what would the healthier version of me be doing in this day? Okay, if I don't have time for working out, but what can I do? Oh, well, I have that random call with blah, blah, blah. All right, well, I'm going to go for a quick walk during that, right? I don't have to be sitting at my desk. All of a sudden, an hour goes by on that phone. You just walked for 2 miles, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
it's like the little things, right?
Yeah.
That we just try to do each and every day. And then all of a sudden you're doing more than ever. All of a sudden the weight's falling off like nobody's business. Everyone's wondering, what's the secret? It's like, I just show up for myself every day. I don't decide to just turn it off on the weekends or turn it off when things get hard. I just find a way. You just keep going for those walks. You keep trying to focus on eating a little bit better food and you don't stop, right? You just keep going. And that's what it's all about. That's what my whole thing is. And everybody looks different, right? Very personal. But if you can figure out how to just like keep going and just think, okay, how do I not fall off? What do I need to do? Watch everything just get so much easier because it finally seems like attainable, right? Because if you think about it, right, if you're starting at zero, if you're at nothing, and then you're seeing what everyone's telling you online. I need to go 5 days a week. Need to go to the gym for at least an hour and a half. I need to do all this weightlifting, right? That seems like the craziest mountain to climb. And if you're
Yeah.
at zero, that seems like it's like
Yeah.
if one you feel embarrassed for going to the gym because you feel inexperienced, right? It doesn't feel good to be bad at something. It doesn't feel good to be
Yeah.
like, especially like as you're grown up, right? When you're getting older or whatever. When was the last time you were bad at something? When you were a kid, when you were at school, right? You've been probably at your job for whatever. So that mentally is like such a hard thing to get yourself to do because it's just so foreign. You're like, I don't want to be bad at something again. I don't want to have to relearn things. It's like all of that, right? It feels like you have to put the training wheels back on the bicycle. It's hard, right? So that's why it's like, then don't do that. But what can you do? Oh, well, I can do home workouts. Cool. There you go. Oh, I can go for walks every day. There you go. Maybe go to an intro class where everyone is like you. Wait a minute. Now you're around people that actually can support you that are also in the same boat. Wait, crazy, right? You join something like mine where I'm supporting crazy, right? So it's like just starting, finding where your people are, finding something you can actually handle, and then just find a way to keep showing up. Put it on your calendar. Don't just like, oh, I'll figure it out sometime. Put it on your calendar. Everyone's run by their calendar, right? Me and you have this meeting today because it was on our dang calendar. If we didn't have it, we would
Yeah.
probably not show up, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's always an appointment with yourself. Find a way to show up. Find a way to show up. So that I just talked for a bit. I know I get excited, but that's the gist
No.
of it, Sherry.
Yeah. They had is land. What I believe a lot of that boils down to and will lead to success is carving out a certain amount of the time for yourself.
Hmm.
This is absolutely mandatory in order to see change,
Hmm.
permanent change. Do you find that as far as the mental part of your program that you do address that with people, particularly mothers of children. School age kids, if they work and have the kids, the thought of taking any time for yourself almost seems bad. You know, a lot of society makes us feel bad about doing that. How does your program account for that?
Hmm.
Or address it?
So it's more about aligning with a why, right? So you ask the mother, why do you do what you do? Right? I do it for my kids. Okay. Would you live for your kids? You would, right? Obviously, every
Yeah.
mother would.
Okay.
So how long do you want to be around? Right? How long do you want to be there for your kids? They're like, I want to forever time. Like, well, if you're not taking care of yourself, that's getting shortened. And I will be frank with you, right? And it kind of just it's eye opening, but it's the truth, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to hear it because you're so for your children. You're like, oh no, I do everything for my kids. Like, I understand, but you also need to live for your kids. They
Yeah.
need you to be the best version of you, right? And if you're
Yeah.
tired, if you're irritable, if you're unable to keep yourself awake while they're trying to ask you for homework, right?
Yeah.
What does that do? Versus if you just found a way each and every day, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, that is you time, appointment for blank, insert name, right? You
Yeah.
feel more fulfilled. You feel like you're doing something for yourself. And that is a direct energy and like it radiates. So
Yes.
you start being a better mother, a better version of you, right? It's an automatic correlation. So we're so used to as a society to put people first, which is fine. Giving is an amazing thing for your children. It's very needed, but it's also a priority to prioritize yourself because without you, there wouldn't be them. So it's
Yeah.
just getting that through is it's a difficult conversation. It's difficult, but it's just reshifting the mind of like identifying with a why you do something. And if Like we get so caught
Mhm.
up in I'm doing this for all these people, whatever, but it's like, yeah, but you if you want to be around longer, then you have to take care of yourself because it's going to catch up to you at some point, and we don't want that, right? We don't want that at all. And if you want to be a better mother, a better partner, whatever, it's like doing this for yourself would ultimately result in that. There's that worry that you're sacrificing time. But what happens is if you start prioritizing yourself, even in the slightest bit, that time that you maybe are sacrificing goes so well put to use because you are a better version of you during the other period of
Yes.
your day by a good amount margin too. Right? If you're
Yeah.
not fueling your body, if you're not nutritionally sound, if you're not moving in some kind, if you're not putting yourself first, you're just kind of just a body existing trying to get through each and every day with the kids, right? But like what
Yeah.
if you radiate? What if you're so much more energetic, you're pumped to live, you're excited to, inspire your kids? It's just a different energy. And I mean, even growing up, I could definitely sense that even times with my mom where there'd be days where she'd be super depleted, right? And just
Yeah.
struggling to keep going, and
Yeah.
it's hard as a child to like have that oomph when the person that you're looking up to can't do it for themselves, right?
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
there's days where she's so inspired. She's doing yoga. I see her outside and I just want to be outside, right? You
Yeah.
get inspired. So just it's less about like everyone just thinks of the caretaker role so quickly and I understand that, but you're also the mentor. You're also the person that's inspiring your kids that is the leading the charge and you want to be that for them, right? And you
Yeah.
got to set the example for them because there are habits too that like the reason why I got down my rough path is because I also was never knew how to truly put myself first because my mom didn't always put herself first. Same with my father, never put
Yeah.
himself first. It was always for the kids, for the kids, for the kids. And then when I got time to take care of, to do something for me, I didn't know how to,
Hmm.
right? Because I was always just
Yeah.
putting forth all of this energy for everybody. I'm a lover, right? I knew how to give, 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 but then I never did anything for myself. I never developed this version of me, confidence. So then we got so hard just to like function, when it was
Yeah.
time to be me, time to build an
Yeah.
identity. I didn't know how to do it because I only knew how to make others happy,
Yeah.
right? So does that answer your question? I know I rambled a
Oh my
bit.
God. Yes.
Cool.
They are well perfectly said.
Awesome. I'm glad you feel that way.
If you would take us through what a new client will experience from the moment they contact you to getting their own unique program and after.
That's awesome. That's an awesome question. So first things first, when it's all about the discovery call. So when someone talks to me, the goal is just to first help. I want to make sure that what I can do, like the value I can provide, is actually what they need, right? I'm not going to
Mhm.
blow smoke. I'm not going to try to tell someone that I can do something that I can't, right?
Yeah.
Never. So I want to ensure that this is one the right fit, and then this is actually the right program for them because there's plenty of programs out there for people that are more advanced, right? And to the extent I can help anybody, that's for sure, no doubt in my mind. But there is a specific type of person that I want to help because I kind of look back to who I was and what I needed, right? And
Mhm.
I want to be the help that I needed years ago. And that's kind of like how I do what I do. So that's step one. If they feel like that basically it's the right fit, because the goal ultimately is that they don't need me anymore, right? It's a 6 month program. And the
Mhm.
goal is that it's all about a big information transfer, right? The reason why they don't know where they want to go is because there's a knowledge gap. They're here, they need to get here, right? And so they can
Yeah.
automatically just run on their own. It's a big information transfer. I'm a mentor. I'm their motivator, right? I'm their educator, right? That's why I'm there because I don't want
Mhm.
them band-aided to me, right? There's a lot of coaches out
Right.
there that just make it so their client becomes reliant on them on how to function for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
I am not here for that. I want you to
Yeah.
graduate. If you want to
Yeah.
stick around because you like talking to me, awesome. I'll give you a
Yeah.
massive discount. But
Yeah.
like seriously, like I give like 50%
Like,
off the program. I'm like, you've already done it? Awesome. You're good. You know what I mean? Because like we've
yeah.
already did the heavy lifting. Um, but that's the focus, right? As that's what I tell people is like, I don't want you to need me. I want this to be the last time you feel like you have to like restart and go to a coach to save you, right? That's the point.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. If you want to get more specific with stuff, fine. But you're here to so you stop falling off, so you stop trying to look for diet coaches, for personal
Yeah.
trainer, go to a different thing. That's my mission, right? And my goal is I want to go through life with you, right? That's what I tell them. Like I want to go through life with you. I want to go through travel. I want to go through vacations. I want to go through crazy work days, work weeks, nights out with the family, partner, whatever it may be, because all those things are what make people fall off, right? That is not, it's not the day to day. When things are perfect, it's easy. It's like a walk
Oh.
in the park. But it's
Mhm.
when things get sideways, you get injured, or you go on a vacation, or you go out over the weekend and you maybe eat too much or drink too much and you think, oh, screw it. And then you throw everything away. That's what I want to go through with you. The mindset exercises, making it so you understand that one day does not dictate success, right? You think your body's going to magically remember your body, what you did that one night a year from now? No can do. You'll be fine. So keep going, right? So all of that. And if they feel like, you know what, this is for me, I'm like, sounds good. So we move forward, right? And then we first have a very detailed onboarding form, right? I need to know everything. What are you trying to do? Is there emotion slash mental goals that you want? Because it's not always physical. Some people just want to be, very emotionally driven rather than some people like, I don't necessarily care for a ton of weight loss or putting on muscle. I just want to like have a better like relationship with like the food I eat and like making sure I don't like flop and like go to 0 to 100 all the time. Right. So we get to really the root cause, the why, right? Understanding mentally, emotionally, what do you want to achieve? Physically, what do you want to achieve? Your why, your identity. Where are we trying to go? Because in order to know what you do in your day to day, you need to know where you're going first. So you work backwards, right? So I want to be around further with my family longer, right? For example, I want to, have more energy for a long period of time with my family, yada, yada, right? You work back. Well, what does that look like? Well, that looks like, all right, well, you have some weight to lose because you're carrying too much weight around. Okay, maybe you have to lose some weight. Oh, and we also need to have more energy because of the food you're putting in your body. Oh, and if we walk more, right, your energy is actually going to come up. So then we pull it back. We pull back the layers. So then now what does that look like for every day? Right? So then we start talking about that. It's like we work all the way backwards of like the day-to-day actions that we can do, right? So then I find out, what is your time commitment? Tell me your schedule, give me your schedule, like show me your work schedule. What can you handle? How often you got kids? How often you go on the soccer field? Getting a real view on someone's life rather than just like, here's a PDF, follow it, right? Because I want to make sure that when someone works with me, it truly is custom to how much time they can handle. If someone says I
Yeah.
can only work out 20 minutes 3 times a week or 2 times a week or once a week, I'm going to, of course, push them a little bit. I'm their coach,
Yeah.
duh.
Yeah.
But I also want to make sure they can actually do it because they came here to not fall off this time. So if they're telling me they can only handle 2 times a week, I'm not going to start saying you can do five. I'm going to say, okay, we're going to start with two, and we're going to slowly try to move to three, right? Whatever. So first we hone in on activity. Then is nutrition. Is tough, right? Because a lot of
Yeah.
people they quickly want to go to the coach. They just want to be told what to eat, which works. Don't get me wrong, but you learn absolutely nothing,
Nothing.
right? You learn absolutely
Yeah.
nothing, and you don't understand how to make food for yourself. You just know how to basically follow orders, just like school, just like work.
Yeah.
You know how to follow orders. Oh, I just put this on the plate. I'm done. I'm successful. Great. So I ask their favorite meals. I'm like, what do you like to eat? What is your favorite food? I'm not going to give you a meal plan or a meal guide or whatever that doesn't include the food you truly enjoy. So then, like, okay, so then what happens is when they tell me their favorite food, I give them a meal plan and a meal guide, but the meal plan is all of their favorite food with different portion sizes. It makes it so they understand that their favorite
Yes.
food can serve them. But I also tell them, I don't want you to follow this to the T. I want you to look at the portion sizes I give you, and I want you to change it up. I want you to find a way to like find your go-to meals and then change up the protein, change up the whatever, and learn, right? So like
Yeah.
you follow what I tell you. You can follow to the T and hit all the numbers I'm telling you to because you learn about macros and calories, obviously, to understand what you're putting in your body. But
Yeah.
I also want them to be educated and understand what they're actually putting in their body and how to alter things and just learn what they eat in their day to day. Because the goal is that okay, if you learn what you eat at home, you can very quickly go out and about in the real world and think, oh, that is too much food. I shouldn't probably eat all of that. That is crazy amount of rice at Chipotle. That is tons of pasta at this Italian restaurant. I probably shouldn't have the whole thing because I normally don't eat that much, right? It's
Yeah.
knowledge, it's understanding things, right? So that's the nutrition
Yeah.
side, right? So we have mindset, we have with the mental emotional goals, right? We have the training, we have the nutrition. So, and then I ask, like, what are the day-to-day habits that we can actually pull off, right? Rather than thinking, oh, I want to do 50 push-ups a day and I want to journal every single day and all these different things, because everyone loves to habit stack. Like, I'm going to do 10 things every day. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
but like on your busiest day of the week, psychotic, can you still do all of those? And they're like, no. And I'm like, then we're not putting them there. What can you
Yeah.
do each and every day that is going to still push you along, right? That comes down to a water intake goal, that comes down to how much you can move in a day, some kind of movement goal, and then being active in some way. Almost always it's that three. If someone wants to be more specific, like, hey, I want to like get 8 hours of sleep, which is obviously very important. We talk about that a little bit, but believe it or not, like sleep's important. Don't get me wrong, but that starts naturally happening more, sleeping
Yeah.
more when you start
And
taking care of all the other things. So it's a
yeah.
direct result of it.
Mhm.
When you start taking care of yourself the right way and you just naturally
Yeah.
fall asleep at the right time, wake up, whatever. But yeah, so that's kind of it. So we really just hone in. I want to have my hands on everything, right? I want to understand you, how you function, how your brain works, what works for you. Some people tick different ways. And then I put together the activity program, a training program of some kind. It might be home workouts, it might be stretching, it might be workouts in the gym, right? Same thing with nutrition. I give them the nutrition plan, and then I provide some onboarding videos, very personalized, explain them. This is how it's going to go, right? This is what to do. This is the different situations. Put some mindset work through it, all that jazz. And then I have an app. I have an app that everything's on, so it's all in one place. And then we set goals. We set minute goals, and I have a 6 month framework kind of thing where I start at a foundation, what I call a foundation phase, then I go to a build phase, then I go into a weight loss phase, and thereon. And that foundation phase at the beginning is all about becoming aware, just becoming aware, tracking food, understanding what your food intake. I'm not asking you to log everything under the sun, but I want you to understand what you're putting in your body. Then kind of like leaving notes and stuff of like how much you actually are moving in a day, becoming aware. That's the foundation phase. Understanding building is building on things, right? All of a sudden you're starting to
Yeah.
eat more quality food, you're starting to work out a little bit more. So we build, and ultimately that weight loss phase is more of like the what I should call it the action phase. Deliberately, like most of the time it's about 3 months in, give or take, we start really honing in on everything we've built and be very specific with what you want to basically achieve. Is it weight loss? Is it putting on muscle? Is it, whatever it is, we tack it head on, right? And yes, we have these goals, right? So what does every week look like? You hear from me all the time. Like, might annoy you type thing, right? So I check in with clients once a week in some way, and this is aside from all the other accountability. I'll talk about that in a second. So one week mindset call. So you fill out a form, you'll be like, what's up? And we just go through the nitty gritty, talk about everything. How are you doing? Because like it's more than just like, hey, did the workout go good? How'd it feel? Whatever. It's like, how are you?
Yeah.
How's life?
Yeah.
Right? I need to
Yeah.
know how you're doing. Then on
Hmm.
the flip side, the other weeks I have an app. Like I said, I record myself going through all of the information that you put in, and I give you direct action items, right? And then we go back and forth in between them. And then every single morning, my first KPI during the week, Monday through Friday, is I look at your food and I look at your workouts and I just stare at them and just add comment. I'm serious. So every client, this is what I do every morning. Every
Uh-huh.
morning, I spend the first 30, 45 minutes just looking at my client stuff, adding comments, being very, very involved. Because
Yeah. Wow.
when I was trying to lose weight, like if I had someone nudging me each and every day during the week, especially when it's hardest,
Yeah.
I would have never fallen. I would have never struggled, right? So there's
Yeah.
just constant communication, right? And then on top of that, I have automations in place where when it's time for you to book a call with me or when it's time to, watch the video, I have automated messages coming from another number saying, "Hey, watch this. Hey, watch this, whatever." You can't escape me. But that's the point. That's why it works because
Yeah.
it's just we really work together on how do I make sure that you never fall off. And sometimes the reason why you fall off is you don't have someone in your corner believing in you each and every day. And that alone is just nudging you along, pushing you forward. That is what has been the absolute game changer. So that's a little bit what it's like. obviously we get way more in depth and stuff like that specifically with the people, but it's extremely custom as you can tell. It's very involved because that is often what it takes, because a lot of people expect themselves to be self-motivated, but what happens in month 3 and 4 when you start committing to something, when you have no one to lean on, right? And things start getting hard. Um, so that's what I'm here is everything is great when you're motivated, but what happens when it gets difficult? That is where I really come in. When things aren't as easy, right? The injuries,
Yeah.
vacations, times out, that's where I come in and I really help you through kind of the darkness that often is what people kind of go through personally. So then when you get on the other side, you know how to do it for yourself. For that, at the end of the 6 months, you feel confident that you can do this for yourself. You know how to work out, to what you can handle. You know how you understand food now. You understand how to lose weight, how to gain weight if you want, right? You know all of the mindset exercises to go about for different phases of your life. That is what people come out of my program with. And then if they feel like they want to stick around because they like my crazy psychotic voice that just is energetic and all this stuff all the time for them, then
Yeah.
fine. And I give them a massive discount because the heavy lifting is done. If we follow the program, if we put the work in for that 6 months, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind you'll get to where you want to go. Zero. I can guarantee it. If you put it in with me,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
100%. It's like 100%. I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
crazy.
I trust it. Yeah, 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 those I trust land
Thank you.
and I agree with everything, but also I am a coach also, and that is or should be every coach's goal. They
Hmm.
are clients and that standing on their own and you just flourishing.
Exactly.
And of course, like you said, if there's ever a time they need to call, need to talk,
You just
yes,
do it.
come back on me. Let's talk and you keep on going. How do you recommend that your clients celebrate their accomplishments? And do you recommend they acknowledge and celebrate more unnecessarily, or just what does that very important piece look like?
So to be honest, I'm a foodie. I love food. Okay.
Yeah,
I love pizza. So I'm a big foodie. I
right.
love pizza. So I'm always down if people want to have food, if they want to enjoy themselves. I am a huge believer in celebration and reflecting and it's a big especially if you've come so far, right? Now celebration looks different for everyone, right? Maybe it isn't
Yeah,
food, it might be in experiences. It might
yeah,
be just they like to sit around and literally just like decompress, right?
yeah,
Go away, go into the woods for a bit. So it really depends on that person. But I'm a big food guy, I'll be honest. And I lean on it and I'm like, listen, you can please go enjoy yourself. Right? You've been crushing it. Enjoy yourself and then get back on the bandwagon tomorrow. Like that's all
yeah,
I say. Because in reality, it's like like I said, one meal is not going to sideline anything. And one of life's biggest pleasures is absolutely awesome food. And so I lean on
yeah,
that pretty heavily. I love my pizza. I love sushi. I love Thai food,
Mm,
I can't beat it, So,
yeah,
and like you can be in unbelievable shape year round eating that stuff. It's just doing it in the right way. And so I'll never turn that stuff down. But yeah, so that's kind of always how I recommend, just do something that like if you're not the way I go about it is like if this is something you don't do often, right? Then live it, experience it, be present and move on. Because
okay.
if this is a memory that you know for sure, right, that you are going to remember for the rest of your life, then screw all the noise of like what you're worried about of like, oh, the weight this or I might lose progress. No, it's worth it. You're gonna remember this for the rest of your life. Enjoy and then get back on the bandwagon, right? I've had people go on cruises. I've had people go to vacation in Spain. I've had people, go some crazy dinner at night. I'm like, do what you got to do. Enjoy yourself, and then when you get back, my ask to you is that you just get back on the bandwagon. You just get back to your groove, because at the end of the day, you're just a healthier version of you. You just do it. And what's cool is when they go about these experiences or they go out to eat, little do they know they're already thinking more consciously, right? They might be at
Yeah,
those experiences and they're not like binge eating like they normally would have or, not move their body. They want to move better, right? They want to maybe go for a quick workout on vacation. They want to eat the better food because they realize that they feel better on vacation when they eat better food, right? Or they have that one meal that they super enjoy and then they just get back to it because they don't feel that good after like eating a ton of pizza you
yeah,
don't feel good
no,
so or you have a bunch of
mm,
ice you don't feel good so
no,
it's like they're celebrating but they're like still being a healthier version of them if that makes sense and that's the point
yeah,
so but yeah, so important to celebrate and just be in that thought of like this. Look how far I've come, right? Thinking of the gains because we get so caught up of where we're not constantly. I'm not here. I'm not
yeah,
there. Whatever. I'm not where I want
yeah,
to be. But like if especially if you undergone some level of a journey, there's always something to take of it, and you need to constantly remind yourself of like 2 years ago, I would have absolutely killed to be right here. So how about I be proud of that instead of worrying the
yeah,
fact that I blank, you know? So
yeah.
yeah.
Ja, så er det. Okay, Jack.
Yes.
Tell everyone listening your full name, the name of your company, and how they can book a call with you.
Of course. So Jack Sorenson, Sorenson Fitness LLC. What's up? You can contact. So easiest way is either Jack at SorensonFitness.com. You can just shoot me an email if you want to directly chat and get to me quickest. Hi, was just whatever. You could also find me on Instagram. That's likely where I am the most present. So at Sorenson Fit, SORENSON Fit. That'll have a bunch of links. And then if you're trying to look specifically more at like what I do, my website, it's just SorensonFitness.com. Super easy. I guarantee if you just look up my name on Instagram, you'll probably find me. It's Jack Sorenson or Sorenson Fitness. So, but yeah, would love to chat with anyone. I'm always down to just help people. So if you need to talk, just give me a shout. That'd be awesome.
One latest question.
Yes,
What would you, being you right now, like to say to the older, younger
younger version
version?
of me.
Yes,
Yeah,
there was struggling, struggling with everything. What would you like to tell him now?
oh man. So big. I mean, I would definitely say to find what makes you you, and then never stop doing that. be unapologetically yourself, really lean into your strength and what you do, and it'll be all right.
Yeah. Man. Jack Sorenson lived pleasure and informative and hopeful for so many things to do. Keep
Thank you.
on being you.
You got it. I never will stop. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Transcending Trauma, the Spiritual Odyssey. If you're working to overcome trauma and would like to work with me or be a guest on my show, contact me through my website at shariroberts.org. Please hit the follow button to make sure you don't miss any episodes. I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn at Shari Roberts. You can find all the links in the show notes. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Shari Roberts, your host, reminding you that you're never alone. Until next time, sending you love and light.